Hello, everyone, and welcome. You're watching here live in the Avon Collective on the special edition of the Wednesday Workshop. I have my co-host Scott Easterday up on this corner, and over on this corner, our special guest who needs no introduction, the one and only Lisa Wilber.
Yes, hands.
Yes. And I'm glad to have everybody here tonight watching live, and of course later on the replay. And we of course want to talk about one big topic tonight. But as you know, Lisa Wilber wrote a book recently, and she is a #1 best-selling author. And the name of that book, Said the Lady with the Blue Hair. You can purchase that by going to the website. Yes, that's right. The blue hair right
and
up
my
there.
hair is not blue. I don't have any. I get to cut again.
And mine is kind of, having some color identity issues. So saidthelady.com is where you can go and check out where to purchase her book. Of course, you can purchase it on Amazon as well as other venues as well. So
and if you have not bought it, make sure you go buy a couple hundred copies for Christmas and hand them out, because I stock only about 5 copies.
Yes. Yeah, and then you have to go back and say, well, I can't find any copies. Somebody must have bought them all.
Every time I clean the house, I find another one. I did give them away because I think it's a wonderful book. It actually has got some big rules of business that all 3 of us actually use. Lisa uses more of them than me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and actually, Scott helped me. Can I tell how we started with that?
Oh, definitely.
It definitely goes into what we're talking about the whole relationship thing. So it was probably a couple years ago now that we were just getting out of COVID, and I spent a whole year in the house locked in with a teenager. And I was thinking to myself, I got to get out and see new people, because the rule in my universe is you can be successful in anything if enough people know what you do. So when I'm getting in any kind of slump, I need to meet new people. And I was thinking, you know what? Let me get into a group where everyone's doing better than me. That always is a kick in the butt for me. So I was talking to Bob Berg, the co-author of The Go-Giver, about something else. And he was telling me about the Go-Giver Success Alliance, that new networking, like a mentoring group that he started. And I thought that'd be perfect. They got doctors and lawyers and speakers and all this stuff in there. They're all doing better than me. I'll have to really bring my game to even be in the group. So what I didn't count on was the fact that the first time in the history of ever I had blue hair. And I was already intimidated because they all do better than me. And yes, I do good in Avon, but when you tell someone you're an Avon representative, it's not that impressive unless they know the rest of it. So I already was thinking I was intimidated a little. And then I had blue hair because the kid had been having orange, red, all these colors of hair for years. And I thought, just once I want to do something wacky and have a color hair. And blue's my favorite color. So I show up at this first Go-Giver Success Alliance Zoom meeting with blue hair, and I'm the Avon lady, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is so bad. So I thought, you know what, I'll tell a joke about the hair, do something. So what I said was, if you want to have less judgment in your life, go ahead and dye your hair blue, because this is working for me. I go down the grocery store and I see some lady with a tight skirt on, and I'm thinking, man, that lady's got a tight skirt. Said the lady with the blue hair. And when I said that, in the comments on that Zoom was a guy that I hadn't met, Jeff West. And he wrote in the comments, that would make a great title for a book. And that's the book that Jeff West said, the lady with the blue hair, me and Jeff West. And it all came from a comment in a Zoom meeting. So, I mean, it just it's funny how meeting a whole bunch of new people and building relationships with all those new people can turn into something that changed the course of my business right there, having such a high profile book come out like that. So, joining new stuff, networking with people, building the relationships, all of that stuff helps, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that's awesome that it just, came from, just a random comment that you had said, and then he picked up on it. Jeff just said, "Hey, that would make a great title for a book," and he just
And
kind
they
of
did not do it for about a year.
Yeah, but
Mhm.
he wasn't
After the
doing.
comment.
Yeah, he was actually talking on the Success Alliance Wednesday calls. He was saying that he was going to change his business model and he wanted to do co-author books and stuff. And I sat up here in New Hampshire and I had him on my show and I talked to him a couple times. And I thought to myself, I wonder what it would take to work with him. I wonder what I would have to have for credentials to work with him or for him to notice me. But I didn't say anything. I just sat here. But I did think if he ever came to me, I'm saying yes. I don't care. I don't care. I'm saying yes. So he actually came to me first. And he said, we laughed about that title at the time, but why don't we just go ahead and do the book? And I'm like, yes. Yeah. I didn't even hesitate because I'd already thought about. And I was just telling I was on an interview a few minutes ago. I don't think that I would have had access to someone like him. Jeff West ran Aflac for the state of Texas for 20 years. I mean, he's a high-performing corporate guy. I don't know where I would have crossed paths with him had it not been something like this mentoring group I'm in. So I think that's why I love joining stuff like that, like the one Scott and I are in, Achieve out there in Denver, to be around people like that. Even like this thing with Bob Berg's group, the Success Alliance, this one project alone that has changed the direction of my business was well worth the investment I had to make to get in it, just for this project alone. And all of these people I've met, the dozens of new people, I mean, it's just, all part and parcel of being worth it, I guess. And I didn't go in there thinking, I try to go like a go-giver mentality is I joined that group thinking, what am I bringing for value? I better up my game. I better be bringing some value to these people. What do I have for skills that I can bring to this? What do I have for knowledge I can bring to this? I didn't join it thinking, what am I getting out of this? And because of that, I ended up getting the most out of it. I mean, having this book project come out of this I can't think of someone else that has had a bigger change happen than me. And it's because I didn't go in looking to get something out of it, I think.
Yeah,
The average new book sells about 200 copies, and that's it.
Right.
So quite honestly, you guys, I think, have already blown that number way out of the water.
Oh yeah, I think we're around 1,000.
Nice.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you're more in the next 30 days.
Right.
Holidays,
Well, and ours is building. We had a big month in August because of the convention, and we didn't even have books to sell on site. So it's every little thing you do. I call it, what is that song, Another Brick in the Wall? Another brick in the wall. Every interview, every article I write, every post I make about it, every hashtag I write, everything is another brick in the wall. So to me, launching a book is a long-term thing anyway. It's not a once and done thing. I knew, like I've had my hair blue for a year now. I told Jeff it would at least be a year, and now I'm keeping it blue because we're getting some momentum. Why change it now?
and it's working for you.
It's working for me. It's working for me.
I think that's so important too. You and I had met in 2016. Daniel and me, all three of us were at the Avon convention in August of 2016.
In my hometown.
Yeah. And then not long after that, I would wind up going to the Ambitious Women's Conference to see you speak in 2018, which I still have the notebook for.
Yeah, that was a fun thing.
That was before I understood networking.
Well, I thought that was funny. You said to me, I remember you saying it, but I didn't remember what I said. I remember you said to me, do you really think I want to go to a conference where it's all women? And I'm thinking to myself, you're worried about being the only man with all of these ambitious good-looking women. What's the problem?
300 to 400 beautiful, ambitious business women.
Yeah, I'm thinking, what is the problem here?
I responded, enough said, I'll book the trip.
Lisa
honestly,
Johnson says,
I had a hell of a time, by the way, in there. I loved it. And I learned a lot.
I wanted to say, Lisa Johnson says the law of attraction, back when you were talking about how everything just kind of came together. Rosemary Chambers says that you and the book are awesome, Lisa.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and I like the law of attraction thing. Yeah, that's a good point. Is I went in wanting to give, and then that circles back, because karma works good and bad. So if you bring your good karma, you get your good karma back. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So,
and the only reason, by the way, we didn't invite Jeff to this is because we would have all three ganged up on him and made him blush.
Poor Jeff. Well, you guys gotta. I was a pre-reader for his new book. It's Streetwise to Saleswise, and it really is good. It's based in New Orleans, so when that's available, you need to get that, because he's really good.
Yeah, really good. I'm gonna make sure I get it. And then the other one we got to get is Jenny.
Oh yeah, Jenny Bellinger. Yeah,
I guarantee. And I have a little connection there too, not as much, but you guys can get me on that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So, but these connections, all these little, and Jean Porter here is on my team.
Oh, nice.
She's in my first generation. She's actually doing very, very well. She's starting to gather more repeat customers.
I see her on Facebook all the time posting
stuff.
Yeah,
she's doing really good with it too. So welcome, Jean. Nita Vaughn. They see Lady Lisa.
Nita
Vaughn, she noticed you.
Oh,
yeah, she got, yeah. So we have a following.
I'm wearing the new set that just.
Oh, is that the one that your mom didn't want, or is that the new one that you didn't show her yet?
I didn't show her this. I think I've semi-learned my lesson. Now I wear jewelry I already know she doesn't like.
Back when you were mentioning that you've had your hair blue for a year, I was noticing earlier, like when I was putting the flyer together for the live tonight, I was like, I can't imagine Lisa being without blue hair at this point. She's had it for so long, and it's become a staple to where it's now a marketing tool as well.
Oh, and I love it. It makes sense, even because when, like, that meeting in New York last year that Avon had, I forgot what it was, the kickoff or whatever, but I got invited, and Jeff said, why don't you offer to give everybody a free book that went? So I called corporate, and they turned me down and said I couldn't give away a free book. Now, I don't blame them, because they have rules. Whatever reason they don't want me to do that, that's fine. But he was upset by that, and I said, don't be. I said, I've showed up at so many Avon corporate meetings in New York over the last 40 years. Never once have I gone there with blue hair. So I said, if you don't think everybody's going to want to know what's going on, that I have blue hair, you're kidding yourself. So, I mean, I don't need to give out books to be able to advertise my book anymore. I just show up. So, I don't mind that they had that rule. They got to enforce whatever they do. But to me, they're not going to say to me, you can't have blue hair. So it's been I love the fact that it's a good marketing tool. It made my life easier promoting the book, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't invited to the kickoff either, but I showed up anyway on the last day to say hi to my friends.
I'm not sure what the criteria was, if it makes you feel any better. I have no idea. So I don't know.
And I'm jealous, because he got a picture of two of my biggest fan club members.
You know who they are?
No.
Oh, can I tell her?
I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Natasha Leitner and Ann Fritz.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I look forward to my annual picture whenever I can get one with them.
They're on my team, but deep down, they're in like 4th or 5th or something like that. Yeah.
And Ann started copying off of Natasha on this jewelry stuff.
It's fashion they're doing.
No, Ann got into the jewelry the other day.
Oh, good. Okay. Yay.
In fact, I think it was today. So Ann is like, she's going nuts with the jewelry now.
Well, I'm kind of doing what I do with the jewelry based on Natasha, because was like buying all the fashion, doing a fashion show and having the posts and everything really consistently for a long time. And I thought, that's pretty smart, is to pick a category that you really like and then just get everything that comes out and focus on that. That's why I'm doing the jewelry.
And every 2 Wednesdays, you can count on a fashion show on Avon Live.
Right.
That's true.
So, no, that's awesome. I think picking a category is smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like jewelry better because it's full commission. So I'm all into the full commission stuff.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook user that said that Grammy will take that bracelet.
No.
That's Rosemary Chambers.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I ordered another one of these because this is the one Grammy heisted off for me. I ordered another one today. Yeah, this whole set, because I'm keeping this set. I love this. Sometimes I love them and wear them a little bit, and then I pass them on to my team as door prizes. But this set I'm keeping because it's blue, of course. That's my thing.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
So we have some rules in that book, by the way, which we need to probably harp on that success rule, and maybe the relationship side of this whole thing. We've been talking about relationships in every meeting we've had for months, but people just aren't getting the connections and why they need to do them.
Well, I think if I maybe gave you a couple examples, now I've been doing Avon for 40 years, right? So some of the things that I do, you might not think of would be relevant if you've been in a shorter amount of time, but all of it does work for me in the long run. For example, this week I got a sign up and I went, ooh, that name looks familiar. And I looked back, she sold for me in 2014. And she came back to me because I'd been sending her cards, at least the birthday card. I looked back to see what I sent her, and it was birthday cards. And she messaged me and said, I signed back up and I made sure to be under you. And I sent her back and I said, thank you very much for thinking about me. I really appreciate that. She said, I never would forget you because you always paid attention to me. And the reality was I didn't pay extra attention. It was part of my system to try to at least be in touch as much as I can. And the birthday card thing. So even if you do, a few reach outs, even if you do some mass emails, but whatever effort you're making, at least if you're trying to keep everybody in your loop, they feel like you're having some relationship going there. And I think that's
the biggest thing I'm doing is all these birthday cards. I'm sending at least 100 a month.
Well, and it works. I don't know how else to say it. You wouldn't think a birthday card would work like that, but like it was a year ago, I got a speaking gig, and it was she said that she used to be an Avon division manager from Wisconsin, and I had actually worked for her. I think it was in the 90s, even. It was late 90s. I had gone to Wisconsin. I think it was 3 different times for her. And she introduced me at this new gig that she booked me for, the year and a half ago, whatever it was, and said that I had spoke at her other meetings before and that we kept in touch all these years. And the reality was she got birthday cards from me. There was no other contact between us. We didn't email back and forth or anything like that. She followed me on social media and got birthday cards. And it just makes you feel like somebody's paying attention to the relationship some, even if it's just once or twice a year. And I know it doesn't sound like that would work, but it works enough. You know what I mean? That you're reaching out to people. And everybody's got a birthday. That's what makes it easy.
And there's a send out cards user that sends halfway to birthday cards.
Say that again? There's
a send out cards user that actually sends halfway to your birthday card.
Yeah, that's more than I can handle, but yeah, it's a lot of figuring out. Yeah, but yeah, I do send a lot of cards, and you know what? I use it for a lot of different things. Like today, I sent one. Oh, I know. I went to the Valvoline Jiffy Lube place. They're not Jiffy Lube, it's Valvoline oil change place, and had my oil changed. And they checked my lights. Well, since I was there a couple weeks ago, my blinker in the front went. So I call them up and I said, can you change that blinker light for me if I bring it back down there? And they said, the van's too old. We don't know how to deal with it. So I said, okay. So I call, sorry about the dog. So then I call.
Alex must be home.
Yeah, that is Alex, I think. That you, Alex? Yeah. Okay. I'm taping a show right at the moment.
We expect donuts every time he comes in the door.
Yeah. So, oh God, where was I?
The blinker. The blinker.
Okay. So they didn't want to deal with. So I called the local guy who does my inspections, and I said, "Hey, Kevin, would you mind? I need someone to do this blinker, and I can't seem to get somebody else to do it because I hate bothering them for something stupid." And he says, "No, bring it on up." So I went up there, and he changed it, and he didn't charge me. And I says, "Oh no, let me give you some money. You stopped your day to do this for me." And he said, "No, it's fine." And so I sent him a thank you card with brownies and caramels in it because he did it, you know what I mean? He did it free and he didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's important that I make sure to thank him properly and send him something nice for it. And it only took me a minute or so to get that card out to him. And I like to be people's best customers because you just don't know. You know what I mean? It's not that I expect anything back. It's not like that. But like the snowplow guy, I try to be his best customer because like one time, I think it was the time I was in Denver, I knew we had a snowstorm when I was gone. I text the snowplow guy and I said, my flight comes in, so I'm going to be coming home about 2 a.m. and we just had a snowstorm. I know you usually don't plow me at night, but can you just plow me enough so I can get in the garage and get out of your way? And he had the whole yard plowed when I got here. And he didn't have to do that. He could have just said, well, I don't do that or whatever. But he said, instead, when I send you an invoice, you pay it within an hour. And he said, you're my best customer I have. Of course, I'll do that for you. So I think I'm not being nice just to get something out of him. On the other hand, it never hurts, I think, to be grateful. It never hurts to be thankful. It never hurts to really be appreciative when they do good work. And, he did me a favor by changing the blinker. I certainly want to make sure he had a good interaction with me. So I think the overall rule, because we all know my life has to have a rule about it, is I want to make sure if someone is in my universe somehow, that they had a good interaction with me, that they walk away feeling good about whatever it was. And that's included, when we all go to a convention and stuff, I used to be the one going up to someone and saying, would you sign my thing? Or can I have a picture with you? And I had somebody blow me off before, and it made me feel about this big. That's when I decided I never was going to do that. So I hope whenever we go to a convention or something like that, and people want to stop and talk to me, that I stop and talk to them, and that I look them in the eye, that I do a picture if they want one, that I sign stuff if they want one. I want them to walk away feeling good about that and not feeling little teeny like I did when that person did that to me. So I think, some of that stuff, if you always just try to make sure people feel good when they have an interaction with you, that'll help your business.
That happens with the bingo ticket business.
Say again?
The bingo ticket business, I created an error. I delivered the wrong box of stuff. Well, that creates an imbalance when you're trying to balance a month for these tickets. Everything's got to match up. So I went to the bar owner today and I said, look, I need your help. I said, I brought you the wrong box. I need you to order the wrong box, and I got to bring you the right box to get this to even out. I said, would you mind if we do this right now? Because I have to balance for the month, and I only got 14 days left. And you know what he said? He said, let me get you the check right now. I said, what about that other game? I see you're short the second game over there. He bought 2 games just because I was kind enough to notice him.
Oh, nice. That's
And
awesome.
so now I got 2 for 1 out of the gig. I got 2 additional boxes sold, but he did it as a favor to me so that I can balance the month. He didn't have to do that. He could have fought, and I could have actually had to go back and do a big, big thing to fix this whole thing. But because he was kind enough to help me do the offset order, now I don't have.
That's awesome. And when
And
you go ahead. Sorry.
I don't have to focus on it now, and now I know it'll come out in the end. But he's a good friend of mine, and he trusts me.
Yeah,
And
I think
because
that's
I
a
got that
go-giver
trust.
thing, isn't it, though? That's like a go-giver thing where you always are trying to add value to the other person. And by value, I don't necessarily mean something free or something like that. Value could be opening the door for them or making their day better or whatever it is. But you're trying, matter of fact, by accepting his help, you actually made his day better because then he can feel good about helping you.
Yeah. And he likes helping because he knows it makes me money too.
Yeah.
The other side of that is that when I first started with this guy about 5 years ago, my business partner told me he'd never sell his first box of tickets.
Never sell the first box?
He said, that guy will never sell the first box.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
how he's going to do it. He's going to be a complete failure. The whole 9 yards. I said, give me his name and give me his number. I'm going after him. I went in. I looked around his bar. I complimented, because one of the things we learned at Avon was always complimenting things.
Mhm.
When you walk in a room, even if the room looks like hell, you find something to compliment. And I walked in like my old district manager, and I said, oh, this is nice. The place looked like hell. Don't get me wrong. But you compliment and you find something nice about that. In fact, I'll bring back that story in a second. And I looked at the guy and I said, do you want to make money with this or do you want to make nothing? He says, I want to succeed and make money with it. I said, I'll tell you what, follow my lead. I'm known for building customers, and we're going to get you there within just a few months. And after that, when I invited him in, now he's under my wing.
That's awesome.
And that's how that worked. I will break off and tell you that story about the This Is Nice, though. This was back in 1996. Yes, I was actually a wee child for real back then. But I was doing signups, and the district manager at the time was guiding me very well and teaching me how to talk to customers the way you're supposed to talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
She would set up these the recruitment appointments. I went to one with her to learn. We walked in, the place looked like the house from the show of Hoarders.
Right.
Oh,
there was no room anywhere, and there wasn't even any room on the desk or the coffee table where we sat, and there was a dead plant. So we go in there to do the sign up, and my manager at the time, she was one of those district managers that could shove everything to the side at anybody's house and get away with it. So she goes in and makes room for the kid. It just shoves a corner, clears us a corner to finish the contract. Well, we're sitting there, and and when we sit down, my manager looks at the girl and she says, "Oh, this is nice." Now, I couldn't find a nice thing in the house. We got back in the van, and I'm always respectful, but I gave her a slug on the arm. I said, "Marge," I said, "excuse me for asking, but," I said, "what the hell was nice?" She said, "there was a flower on the table." I said, "it was dead." She said, "you always have to find something to compliment." And that was where I learned that when you go somewhere and you're a guest of something, you always compliment, even if the place looks like hell, you make a compliment that this is nice. So every time anybody dare says this is nice, I just cringe. about 27 years ago. But I did learn to pay the compliments, and now when I go to a new customer, I deliberately make a compliment about their bar. Even if it's not, it can look like hell. I don't care, but it's a nice place.
And those kind of things never bothered me. I had a district manager that didn't want to sign somebody up because the girl was smelly. And I said, I'm sure she's got a whole bunch of smelly friends she can sell to. Why do we care about that? That is not my problem. If she got a kit money, I'm happy to have her. You know what I mean? Well, is that not true? Why is that?
And at the time we sold deodorant, and we still do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, even if deodorant is not her thing, chances are all of her friends are probably like her, and she can sell to them. That's fine.
Could be her number one seller.
Right. Yeah, that didn't bother me any. But the manager always thought I should dress better and I should wear makeup and I should do all this stuff. And it used to bother me until I started out earning her. And then I thought, you know what? I know that I can just be me and earn as much money as I want. So,
and people know you for you.
Right. I'm not. Yeah, I wasn't from the beginning. I wasn't interested in being someone else. The only thing though is I do have a regret. Avon actually called me to be in a magazine for a makeover thing, and I wouldn't do it because my ego said, "Hey, if I'm not good enough for you the way I am, F you people." But I should have done it because you got free clothes and a free meal and you got to fly to Atlanta for a free little trip. I should have just done it and then thought, well, if some of this stuff is good, great, I'll continue to wear it. But if I don't like it, I just won't do it after this. But my ego wouldn't let me do that. My ego said, hey, if you don't like me as I am. So that is a regret. I wasn't able to separate the fact that it was just suggestions. You know what I mean? I turned it down because I thought they were trying to change me, and I don't like that when people do that.
And something else is the humor behind things. That same district manager who taught me a lot of what I know today that I still use, and thankfully she told me it was going to leadership. She knew which way it was going. And she told me, she said, we're not here forever. You guys are. She said, get ready. And she retired on time and everything, but she went to a trailer park. And that was back when you could knock on doors, and she would damn near walk in their house. At the time, you could do that. And they were good at that. If they had the tact, they could do it. And so one lady stopped her at the door and said, I'm allergic to Avon. Well, Marge, being the crazy lady she was, and we were good buddies with her back in the day, she said, oh, honey, I didn't realize you were allergic to cookbooks, because at the time we were carrying cookbooks, which I still have some of.
Oh, that's funny.
They fell over laughing, and I'll be damned if she didn't sign the lady up to sell cookbooks at fixed earnings.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
And the lady sold cookbooks.
That's funny. That's funny.
But all because she took the excuse away and made light of the situation.
Well, good for her, because I don't do that. When someone does that to me, I go, next.
Well,
don't even try. No.
At the time, I think the point too behind that too is it was a clever point where she saw enough of a signal that she needed to get around that obstacle.
Yeah.
And whatever that obstacle was, she was able to do a workaround.
Yeah.
And that was the neat part. Now, mind you, yes, I do agree with you. My favorite word is next too. I said that to Daniel a couple of days ago.
Well, and the thing that we all, you need to think about when someone is training you. Now, back then, they were employees that worked for the company. They had a quota for the number of appointments that were made. That's not how they got paid. They didn't get a percent of it like we do. So even back then, if you took all of your training from someone who had a different agenda than you, you might have ended up signing up people that didn't work out because they were only trying to get a contract. where I didn't care about getting a contract because unless you were staying and selling something, I weren't earning nothing. I didn't make any money selling a kit. I didn't make any money turning in a contract, and that's what they got paid on. So you had to know the difference, and that's true today. When you're listening to somebody or taking training for somebody, you have to step back and say, do I get paid the same way they get paid? If not, I need to adjust how they're thinking or what I'm listening to make sure that it's fitting what I need. Because you always have to think about that when you're getting training, including people listening to us. They should be saying, do these guys get paid the same way I get paid? Because if they don't, I need to make an adjustment here with what they're doing because I need to get paid. It's all about getting paid.
And it's all about that same goal, though, too. Because now, had I understood the marketing stuff that I know today that I've learned through you and many other sources, and I would have had those people's contact information to this day, can you imagine what I could have done with them by now?
Oh, yeah,
because
that's
it would
true.
have been part of the success rule if I would have just understood the success rule 27 years ago.
And you know, I'm so glad I heard that, and I don't even know where I heard it. I don't. But somebody somewhere, and this was way back when I was in the trailer park, somebody said, you know, you could be successful at anything if enough people know what you do. And I went, wow, that's true.
And that rule is like the top rule in that book right now.
That's my favorite, because even when I was selling Girl Scout cookies or trying to get people to come to an open house, no matter what it is, if enough people know, a percent will want to come, or a percent will want to buy them cookies, or a percent will want to buy Avon, or a percent will want to sign up to sell. If enough people know. I do get once in a while, like I'll say that to somebody and they'll say, well, how many is enough? And my answer to that,
I saw that question the other day. I almost wrecked the car.
My answer to that is more. There's not a number. They were expecting me to say 100 or whatever they were expecting me to say. The answer to that is more. So every day I get up and try to find more ways to get people to know what I'm doing. And this is after 40 years of doing this. So it's not going to be where you say, oh, I've told enough people. Right. Oh, there's one of the cats. Yay. Yay. Oh, and the dog too. Oh, no, the dog's over there. Yeah.
Hi, Bo.
He's looking at the cat, wondering why the cat's standing there. Anyway, but it's a constant thing when you're in a business, I think, that you need, because people are going to go. They're going to wander off or die or whatever they do, and you're always going to need to replace them, plus some if you want to grow.
I was always told it's like life insurance. You lose 10% a year.
Oh yeah, that's a decent. I don't know if the percent's correct because I never worked it out, but that sounds right.
Yeah, but you always want to be generating new, and getting to know the customers. I have customers that call me out when I don't have the right color shirt on the right day of the week. Because I'm known for only two colors of shirts, a green and a red. And on a Tuesday and Thursday, if I don't have the green one, the one guy down in North Royalton, Ohio, he's like, you're not in dress code today. And I'm like, neither are you. And then we get in a big to-do about it we argue about it for 10 minutes, but it's part of it.
Green and red, you're all set for Christmas.
Well, yeah.
Year round.
Oh, that's awesome.
But no, people get to know you and what your habits are. Even my hairstylist was talking to a bartender that knows me, and she's like, Scott doesn't like change, does he?
Though, there's something to be said for that, though, because the interview I just did, I was telling him my superpower is consistency. I mean, you know that over time, because you said you heard a lot of this stuff before I even did the book or anything.
Yeah. It's all, if you look at all your interviews back to day one, it's all this very similar stuff. In about 2 more weeks, when it finally gets cold here, I'll be able to talk about the wood stove roll more.
Yeah, the consistency, I think, has really helped me overcome. Let's see, I'm not that smart. I'm not that, I'm not a troll.
Well, you're smart because you educated yourself on what you need to know.
Right. And I was able to hit upon some stuff that worked for me because I try enough stuff. And then once I get something to hit, I stay on it. So, like with
As you
send out
should. Why would you not? If it's working, why would you not do it again?
well, and then like the example of sent out cards. Once I started using that was 15 years ago. I've sent out over 80,000 cards since then. I think it's 85,000 cards since then because it was working, and it works still. People are impressed to get a card. They think I made it myself because they're very nice and they're inexpensive. When something like that works, I just keep doing it. So it's
I stop sending cards once in a while. I'll slow down on them by accident because I'll get busy on something.
Mhm.
And if you take the day you slowed down and then the date you pick back up, and you'll see a 6-month gap in your revenue.
Yeah, well, yeah. I do think it's about 6 months too.
It happens every time.
You do it now will affect your pay in about 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I've been doing. I just sent out 25 more recruiting cards, and another 25 are probably going tomorrow morning.
Hey, Daniel, let's give Daniel a chance to say something. He's not getting to say nothing.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was going to also point out earlier too when we were talking about the lady who didn't want to sign up the potential representative that was potentially smelly or whatnot. Maybe deodorant would have been her hero product.
Well, she didn't think she was smelly, so that's the point of it. That she didn't. To me, it's not the thing that would turn me off on a recruit isn't smelly. It's non-ambitious. If they can't even bother to get out and put books out, that's a no starter for me. Way worse than anything else that she could do, because don't forget, in my district manager's eyes, I was unacceptable the way I was. So she would always, matter of fact, she used to bring me LL Bean books thinking I was going to update my clothes and stuff. And then she'd say, well, shouldn't we go talk about a different hairdo and all this stuff? She'd always have these little tips she wanted to give me. And when I was going on the trip, she's like, maybe we should go on a shopping trip before you go on the trip so I'd be acceptable. And the more she said stuff, the less I wanted to do it. So it really, she actually got the opposite effect of what she wanted, because I just didn't want to be put in a little category, I guess.
Yeah, it was like she was throwing little hints at you, kind of like putting you in that little category.
Well, it felt like she was talking down to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It felt like she was being condescending, that she was better than me. And to me, I thought, I don't even want to do this if I can't just do it and be me.
We had one out in Cleveland that was like that.
And well, it's almost all presentation, because it's not that she was wrong. Over time, I think I have gotten better about wearing makeup when I should, or wearing jewelry when I should, or dressing up when I'm doing an interview or whatever. But it was a learned skill over time. I don't think she could just drag me across that finish line. That wasn't going to happen back then. So,
well, you also did what you wanted when you wanted to do it, not when someone forced you to.
Right.
Because
the more judgy she was, the less apt I was to do whatever she was saying.
When my business partner tells me I have to do something, I push right the hell back.
So I think, like, when the manager was saying, right. So instead of it, I didn't say to that girl, the smelly girl, why don't you have deodorant or your hair product? I just treated her like anybody else and said, oh, here's the books and there's stuff to show. And, I actually have always promoted daily needs anyway. So she might have been doing that just regular, but that's just not because I thought people would smell less, is because in all these years that I've sold, no matter how bad the economy was, I've never had anyone say to me, you know what, I don't have money right now. I think I'm going to forego deodorant. You know what I mean? Nobody says that. Everybody buys deodorant, shampoo somehow. They just scrape together the money somehow. So if they're going to buy those things somehow, let them somehow buy them from me.
Yeah, and it's like when the COVID pandemic hit in 2020, that was actually one of my best-selling years in terms of, sales, because people were still buying stuff and buying the regular stuff. We brought in a lot of essential products. Well, Avon brought in a lot of that at the time, so a lot of that was able to come right through and keep those numbers going up. So it was for a lot of people saying, oh, I can't sell anything, I can't go out, I don't want to meet anybody. There was when there's a will, there's a way.
Oh, except
Mhm.
in my house, we say where there's a Wilber, there's a way. It's the motto on the wall.
I still do a hazmat style delivery.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I've had to do that with a couple
Yeah.
of customers that, I had
Mhm.
one older lady. She wears like a hazmat suit. We have to meet in a parking lot out in the public, and she parks here and here, and I get out, put it on the ground, get back in the car. She gets out, picks it up, and then leaves the check, and we do it that way. Still.
I
Wow.
call that hazmat delivery.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's always special. Yeah. Although, I still have people, I have a pickup shed at my house that started during COVID, and I still have people that want to do it. Not because they're afraid to talk to me, but because it's convenient. They can pick up whenever they want, and they already paid
Mhm.
for it, so that makes it nice.
Kind of like when you go to the fast food places and they have a place where they put the to-go orders, you just go in
Yeah.
and pick up and go.
Yep.
Mhm.
Same deal.
That
Yeah.
I do that when I go to Denver. In fact, I have my like the university. I have my meal saved in the app for lunch.
Oh, nice.
I
So
just
you
go out,
did the same
click on
thing?
Arby's, it shows up automatic, and then I have that same meal at night if I don't like what the hotel had that night.
Oh, you
That
know
way
what
I
I was go ahead. Yeah,
have something,
what I was gonna say
something I
about
like.
the send out card thing and the consistency thing together is one of the things that I do in my Avon business is everybody that buys gets a thank you card in the mail every time. Every customer gets a thank you card every time. And because I'm on a subscription, it actually doesn't cost me more. It's included in my subscription. But it's
Mhm.
so funny because the customers like that so much. And one of my regulars, Carol, she's so funny about it. We play this little game with each other every time. She says, "Oh, and Lisa, you don't have to send me a thank you card this time." And I said, "Oh, Carol, I'm so sorry, but there's a rule about that. So I do have to send it out." And she goes, "Oh, I knew you were going to say that." She says, "I really like them." And she's given me more referrals than any other customer I have. And she tells everybody about the thank you card. And it's such a
Mhm.
small thing and an easy thing to do, yet think about
Mhm.
how few people are doing it. When was the
Yeah,
last time you got a thank you card from buying something?
You
true.
know, the
And
last
it's
time I
Seriously.
saw somebody brag about an order, they were complaining about how they wished it would have been under $60 so they could get free shipping, or they could charge a customer for shipping.
oh
Oh, you mean
wow.
a rep was complaining?
Yeah,
Wow.
they 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 wanted they're like, I'm going to tell my people to order under 60 so I don't have to pay their shipping.
No.
Oh my God, I could wreck this car.
But you almost gotta not even think about them guys because that's noise.
Yeah,
You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean?
that's
I tune
When you,
most of it out, but it bothers me how many people do that. And I'm like, just send me your customer. I'll take care of them for you.
right. Exactly. It's like, why would you tell someone, "Oh, buy what you want, but don't buy this much"? It's like
well,
shooting
and,
yourself.
and are we really supposed to be focusing on what we're getting or what value we're bringing?
Right.
I mean, you want
Exactly.
to serve the customer, and however that sorts out, you're going to get something. You're going to get some money. You're going to get some referrals. You're going to get something.
Sure.
Why try to jam them in a box so it benefits you more than it's going to benefit them?
Right.
Why do that? So you want to
Mhm.
give them the best service you can, and in the long run, it's going to work out for you. I think
Yep.
you can't really sit there and nitpick all the little. And you know what? They're doing that shipping thing now, but that's only been what, the last year and something.
Yeah.
Maybe
Everything changes.
maybe 2 years at the most. Yeah.
So I
It's
mean,
yeah.
the stuff that people complain about, and the people that people complain about, over my 40-year span, nothing has stayed the same except me. Nothing
And
at corporate, none of the corporate people, none of the representatives, nobody, nothing has stayed the same except me. So
Mhm.
if you concentrated on being the best representative you can be, giving the best service to your customers and being consistent, you're going to have a really nice profitable career for you and not worry about this little stupid stuff.
Right.
Because all that stuff changes over time. And if it's not how you like it now, it'll probably be different in a year or so, if that. And the same with if there's someone at corporate you don't like, they won't be there because they all cycle around, right? I mean, or even another representative. There used to be a representative. Oh, this is funny. There used to be a representative in my district. Her and I were really competitive. And, you know, it was like competitive, like a little bit bitchy competitive. And, you know, she ended up in my downline. She got nested.
Oh, wow.
Years later, it was like 25 years later, she got nested in my team. But it didn't matter to me either way. I give her good service. I always was nice to her back then too, because none of that stuff bothers me because I'm looking at the big picture, the long-term picture.
You know, the last 4 bingo customers that we got on the bingo route out here, the last 4 that we got were all open referrals from bartenders that know us from delivering the tickets.
Now that's
Not one of those was created by my business partner, who that's his main responsibility. They were all created by referrals.
No, and referrals are a beautiful thing in the Avon business too.
They are. And to touch on what you're saying about just those small things that you do, the thank you cards you're mentioning, you know, it's always the small things that people will always be touched by and remember, and that's how they're going to remember you. And then, referrals is definitely a big and a great thing. I mean, you deliver the great customer service that you should, and do these little things, you know, then they're gonna repay you back by saying, hey, you know, they're gonna talk to somebody, hey, I know someone who sells Avon, she's great, or he's great, you know, and you know, they do this and that, and they take good care of me, and they'll refer you, you know. And then don't be afraid to, you know, ask your your good customers, hey, you know, if you know of anyone who might be interested in Avon, or who's looking for an Avon rep, if you hear of anyone, you could always ask for a referral too, you know, especially if you have a good relationship with that customer. And that's why relationships are so important with customers. We do that at Verizon too. You know, we complete a sale. We ask them, hey, you know, my name's Daniel. If you happen to get a survey today, you know, I appreciate if you take the time to help us out and let us know how we're doing. And if you know of anyone that may need some help with cell phone service, send them my way. So,
no, that's awesome.
And Daniel being bilingual is also very helpful at a Verizon store.
That's true. That's always very helpful to in at Verizon and even in Avon too, because sometimes you'll have customers that will come to you and they don't speak English. They may speak Spanish. They could speak another language. If you're multilingual or know another language, or know someone who does, you could do that. And if you don't, there's a great app out there called Google Translate that will be your best friend. Where there's a way.
In the Go Giver, we talk about all things being equal. This is Bob Berg says, all things being equal, people will buy from people they know, like, and trust. And in Avon, the thing we have to all remember is that we sell good stuff. That's true. But the reality is they're commodities. You can buy them anywhere. You can buy face cream anywhere. You can buy mascara anywhere. Now, I'm sure ours are awesome, but without a relationship with the person's going to run down and buy it at Rite Aid. Let's face it. So you have to give the best service that you can give and make the person want to do business with you by adding extra value to their life. You know what I mean? Listen to them when they're talking to you, draw a smiley face on their invoice, send them a thank you card, be something positive that they want to, when they hang up the phone from talking to you, you want them to say, wow, that was a good experience talking with them. Sure. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go down to Rite Aid. I'm going to buy from her because I want to see her successful because she's great. Or he, you want that. And when you sell a commodity like we do at Avon that you could buy other places, the whole thing is going to revolve around the relationships you build, the contacts you make, and how you nurture those people that buy from you. I think our business especially is a relationship-based business. You can't just always be talking about selling them something. You got to care about them. You
Right.
have to send them thank you notes. You have to, go the extra mile and be nice and be pleasant. If you can't be nice, don't answer the phone. I've actually been sitting with a representative when she's answered the phone and in a bad mood. And I'm like, why did you answer? Because right, just
Yeah.
let it go to voicemail. But you have to be on your game and bring value to other people, or you're
Mhm.
going to be sunk, because we're selling something that you could literally go buy anywhere, a
Mhm.
commodity. So it's
Yeah.
all going to boil down to know, like, and trust. They need to feel like they know you, like you, and trust you in order
Yeah.
to buy from you in the long term.
And with that too, it's like in that case, yeah, let him go to voicemail and then call them back once you've composed yourself. Like for us, if we have an irate customer and we're a little bit anxious and stuff in the Verizon store, the boss is completely okay with us going to the back for 5 minutes and recomposing ourselves before we help the next person. I mean,
I actually saw a post
Yeah.
where someone was saying about the customer is not always right. And I'm like, it doesn't matter, literally does not matter if the customer is right or wrong. That's
Mhm.
not the point of talking with the customer. The point
Right.
of talking with the customer is making the customer feel heard and valued and getting whatever the customer needs done.
Mhm.
It's not whether the customer's right or wrong or whether I'm right or wrong. Those things are irrelevant,
Mhm.
And
right?
after you hang up the phone, they can be wrong. That's fine, but they don't
Right,
need to hear that they're supposedly wrong. So
because I'm sure you had to go through training for that, right, Daniel? Never
Oh,
arguing will never fix, because the other
definitely.
person just argues back.
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely not. All that does is fuel the conversation in a
Right.
bad way, and
Yeah.
it just escalates in the wrong way. And you want to de-escalate anything like
Yeah.
that,
Because
And
I mean, for
yeah,
us, we want to say something along the lines of, "What do you think I can do to resolve this situation where I can do that?" And then if they say something unreasonable that you can't do, maybe come back and say, "Gee, I'm not sure I can do that, but this is what I can do. Would that
sure,
work for you?" And and just try to work back and forth till you can do something so they're happy and that you can get it off your plate. But I
sure.
think arguing with a customer is a, a death wish.
Yeah,
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 it is.
yeah. Because
Lisa, would you? We have a Facebook user.
question.
Would you mind reiterating the success rule? They're asking more about that. Maybe we should reiterate it.
Yes, the success rule is you can be successful at anything if enough people know what you do. Okay, so that
Mhm.
means I'm going to be successful as an Avon representative if enough people know that I sell Avon or know that I build a team with Avon. And the reason I've always said that is because everyone's not going to buy from you just because they know you sell. So a whole bunch of people are going to know, and a percent of them, and it's a small percent,
Mhm.
and not only that, but people have to hear that you sell more than one time too. So I mean, like 3, 4 times before someone actually buys from you. So every day when I wake up, I still do this every day, is I get out a paper or a pad of paper and I write at the top, how can I get more people to know what I do today? And sometimes it's even one person more. Sometimes it's a bunch of people more. And
Mhm.
what I'm trying to do is collect name, address, phone, and try to get them on my database somehow or connected with me somehow. Let me give you an example. Let's see. I was sitting at Jiffy Lube. This is 2 times back. I realized we only got 2 minutes. I'm watching. I think this was a couple oil changes back. I'm sitting at Jiffy Lube. The lady next to me is talking to her daughter on the phone about Great Wolf Lodge and going on and on about it, how much expensive it is. So then she says to me after she gets off the phone, she said, is that your van? Are you the Avon lady? I said, yes. She said, do you have a book? I said, I got something better. And I got out my phone. I said, I got this shuffle card. Let me send it because it has all the books, because it has my link in the book updates, right? So I put it on her thing. And then to get the shuffle, I gave her the shuffle card. So she filled in her name and her phone number. So then what I did when I went home is I went to whitepages.com, reverse looked up her phone and got her mailing address. Then I Google searched Great Wolf Lodge coupons, did a screenshot, and I sent her a card with Great Wolf Lodge coupons in it. So I paid attention to what she was talking about to the daughter and sent her a card that was specific for her, so she'll remember who I was and what we were doing at that place. Now, did I get business from that? I'm not sure whether I did or I didn't, but I do know if someone comes up to her and says, "Do you know anybody that sells Avon? I'm looking for Skin So Soft," I know she's going to say me. And that's all I care about, is I left an impression with her that I do Avon. She knows I do Avon, and that I'm big into it, and that I paid attention to her.
And the very worst, if she for some reason forgets, she'll go down to the Jiffy Lube and ask them, "Hey, when's that lady with the van coming around?"
But I mean, if you have enough contacts every day, it snowballs over time. You know what I mean? It just does. And people just pop out, orders pop on my thing all the time of people that I don't know. And if I happen to talk to that person, they'll tell me some story like, my friend sat next to you at something and you were telling her about something. You know what I mean? That's how it ends up happening. I don't always wait on the person I met. It usually ends up being somebody, a referral from somebody else. So it's just getting enough people to know what you do, making sure people that are in your universe have a positive experience when they do deal with you, and doing that every day consistently.
Yeah.
And you know what? We need to go ahead and give Lisa's website for her book out one more time.
Yep, let's do that. That's said the lady with the blue hair.com. There it is.
Yeah, and on there are where we're available, which is Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the online retailers. And on that said the lady with the blue hair.com are all our endorsements. We have 30 endorsements on the carousel. And if you scroll down, it's links to every interview that we've done. So links to all the YouTube interviews that we've done separately and together, Jeff and I.
And I'll be uploading this tonight, and I'll get you to link to it.
Yeah, I'll put this right up there.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. And I guarantee we're going to both get cards in the mail, Daniel.
Yes.
That's true. I send out cards whether I'm the host or the guest. I do.
You know what's funny? I should go send her brownies and she'll send me brownies.
We do quality control. Remember? Quality control.
Quality control.
Just stay away from the candy corn for the holidays. I can't, unless it's brats, I don't want it.
The cat.
What? Oh, which one? Which one is that? Is that Maisie?
That's Maisie.
Yeah.
I think the dog's down there on the floor or something, but Maisie's right here.
Yeah.
There she is.
Well, this was a very informative interview. I think we did a good job on getting some stuff across.
Absolutely. I agree. And I mean, can't thank you enough for agreeing to, come on and share some great ideas, talk about customer relationships, how important they are. Just amazing chat here we had here in the last hour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
We will have one of these sometime next month, and maybe we'll see if I can get Jeff West out of his corner.
Oh, I'm sure he will. He will.
We'll plan that one a little bit better, but this is still great. I appreciate it, Lisa.
Thank you very much, you guys. I do appreciate you having me on.
We will see more of you. Now, how do I close this out? You bear with me because I'm still learning. Do I just hit end stream?
I believe so. Goodbye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, guys.